Relationships can be taxing at the worst of times. A lot of people, I think last year we went through a series, 2019, of gender-based violence. A lot of reports and a lot of why does it happen, what can we do to curb it. But there's another form of abuse and violence, which is emotional, that happens in relationships. Does anybody have a story of how somebody has been victimized emotionally in a relationship? Because they're not stable. They don't have something of substance that they bring into a relationship.
I think people get into relationships broken. People get into relationships bringing baggage and and I've seen it with most women, and I'm lucky to say I'm one of the few. Like, for example, I don't relate to the narrative of men are trash, because I've been lucky enough not to experience abuse at the hand of a man. But if you say that out in a public space with women that way, they will gun you down. You can't say that because you understand. And it's like, I'm pick your emotional, I'm picking what you've gone through. They are not sure. And those women who take that, I was abused, and hence men are trash. Going into the next relationship, lo muntu broken. And mese fake relationship yesibili, law okhona manje must pay for the sins walo munye. So because lo munye nganginokumfonela ngalibamba ucingo kanti useyamjolela useyangikangela. So now ke manje ngijola nawe, I'm going to phone you 20 times a day and dare you not answer. Hell.
Have a good life.
Yeah, it's funny how.
Good luck with that woman. You know what? I'm done with you.
Because she's broken. Yeah, but and uthola ukuthi ama-insecurities akhe ne-happiness yakhe uyibasa on last relationships and akahilishi. And uthola ukuthi that woman will drive away a good man ngenxa yokuthi akahilishanga wadlula kulesa simo akusona, because now hence all men are trash kuye.
Hurt people. Discuss for 10 marks.
Hurt people.
If you come from a broken relationship, you are bringing that baggage into another relationship to break it, because you're in a position of now they've extended this to criminals as well, but just so we can narrow the focus to relationships. Hurt people. And just to kind of add on that is that from what she's saying, we don't detox from a previous relationship before we go to the next one. And I'm sure we can all have a story.
And it's all relative.
Yeah.
It's all relative. Well, I'm going to pick up and I'm going to rephrase it slightly.
Yep.
Not hurt people, because I think at some point everyone will get hurt in a relationship in their lifetime. Even if they are in one relationship, within their relationship, they will get hurt by the person that they're with. It's just, it's what my mother said to me, is that when you have two different people, it doesn't matter how similar they are on paper, at some point they're going to clash. But unhealed people hurt people. I would go as far as to say that. It isn't about the other person and what they're doing to you. I think it's your one person's own ability to deal with a situation where there is conflict and how they're going to come out of it. And that's what determines the future of that relationship.
Is that something, from what Mike is saying, from a previous relationship? I'm assuming you had more than one relationship. No. Lord help us if you don't. Is there something you can pick up from a previous relationship that you need to heal from? Whether you're healing from it now or not is a different discussion, but is there one thing you can pick up from it? You know what, in a previous relationship, I underwent this and I've picked up that I need to heal from it before it becomes toxic in the next relationship.
I am toxic. Okay, I have this habit. If we have a problem, I don't communicate. So basically, if sizocabana manje, ingakuziba 2 weeks or two months, and then then I'm gonna get back to you and we're gonna talk about it. Only when I decide
okay, now I'm ready to talk about it, which is bad because if my partner is like sort out izinto manje ukuze yabo. So mina I'll get to know, like, give me space. 3 months, 4 months, and then I'll give back. And then I'll give back to you. And I feel that I need to do better, I guess. And yeah, I think that's the only problem I have.
Oh wow!
I'm loyal. You're gonna pay
we are similar and different. We are similar in that I also don't like speaking when things are still because I'm afraid of my response. And also taking responsibility of the fact that I know how I might respond and I don't want you to be a trigger. So I'm safeguarding you and the relationship by doing that. But 3 months, not bizarre.
Yeah, 3 months.
Not 3 months, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
But similarly, what needs to happen, and I think this is going to be another discussion, whereby people need to read you in terms of how you deal with issues. Because if you don't like confrontation, you need to address an issue. Maybe not confronting sometimes with people, it's a negative word. You need to deal with it somehow. So avoid it for the sake of when we have the discussion, at least we're having a rational, mature discussion.
You know what, if I can just come in there, Meg, that is the most accurate description of things. Me, I hate confrontation. I avoid it at all costs. And I don't like people who are confrontational. I sometimes would put the needs of the next person ahead of mine to avoid confrontation. And I hate people who are too militant and always eager to fight, because now I'm looking at that thing, hate people. I'm the guy that grew up in a boarding school setup in a functional nuclear family that then went to varsity and stayed by themselves, came back for the job, stayed by myself in a flat. I've never actually, I don't have the emotional, how do I put it, resilience that I need to deal with people. I did not develop emotionally to be able to deal with people. So what I do is I run. And when you get into fight mode, I panic and I get anxiety attacks. And so in partners, that is the first thing I deal with. When I meet someone, I tell them, you know what, listen, I'm not a very confrontational person. I'm a happy person. I live in my happy bubble. I protect it at all costs. And happiness belongs to you. It's a very personal thing.
Yes.
Your emotions are yours. You cannot rely on another person for your emotions. You want me to make you happy. No, I can't make you happy. You need to decide when you get up in the morning that I'm going to be happy today. And then I can only enhance it and make it this much better. You know what I mean? So I'm a breakfast show host. People rely on me for their mood. So irrespective of what is happening in my life, I need to show up happy. So that means now I need to make sure that all elements of my life, professional, social, and also home, I have to engineer them that they give me the happiness so that I can give it out to people out there. But you still would find that in a relationship, people would say, because I would ask someone, are you unhappy in this relationship? And if the answer is yes, then why are you here? You want me to make you happy. It's you. You even know what makes you happy. Do it. Like it's like fat people. Fat people know why they're fat.
Do you know anything about this?
It's finished.
Are you familiar with?
Wait, hang on. I'll not finish this thing first. Fat people know why they're fat. Fat people know what they need to do to not be fat, but they choose not to do it. It's like broken people. They know what they want to make them happy, but they choose not to do it. They choose to then offload it on another individual and then I would say, okay, you're unhappy. How can I make you happy? Then they say, if you do this. Okay, how come you can't do this for yourself so that you are happy? And then I can just make it this much better.
Okay, let me respond this quickly. It's nice that you're sharing, and I think it's big of you to share in a forum like this, because sometimes as people we get too busy with life that we don't get in touch with the softer things that make us tick as human beings at our very core. Will Smith said the same thing about his wife, that at some point in the relationship, he discovered that he actually wasn't responsible, like you said, for his wife's happiness. It's like, I can only do so much. The rest is up to you. But to the point of how you deal with or avoid confrontation, can you say you are in a position, however, to address those issues? Because some people just run and never get to it. She has a 4-month, 3-month, 2-week window where eventually it's addressed if the opportunity arises. Because, if you don't address an issue, it builds. And then at some point it explodes. Then people are like, what happened? How did we get here? Yeah. So are you able to say you have developed a capacity to address those issues in a non-confrontational way, or found a person who understands that, in as much as you don't like conflict, we need to deal with this particular issue? Have you developed that?
Okay, I would say maybe it's a toxic trait.
Yep.
But I cocoon. I cocoon and allow you space to deal with it. I go in cocoon and find my happy spark, and I light up my happiness fire, and then I'm happy again. If you still want to deal with this when I'm happy now, okay? You've not dealt with it, you're still unhappy, okay? And then you want to invite me into that world of unhappiness. I avoid you like a plague. So maybe, like I said, it's a toxic trait, but I've found a way. Because for me, okay, this is not personal to me. I have my own mental issues, and confrontation is one of my triggers. So I avoid confrontation at all costs.
Okay.
So if I can avoid you, then I will avoid you. If then I can't avoid you, maybe I work with you, I have to come here, I will then make sure that during the time that I'm associated or in your company, I will try and give you happiness so that you find some of it also and deal with yourself, and then I can then quickly pack away and run.
Okay.
So what about in terms of, could maybe if the confrontation was a little more constructive?
A bit gentle. Yes, maybe the approach.
Because I understand the kind of confrontation that one fears. Because if someone comes through and they accuse you and they come accusational, and then you immediately have to be on the defensive, I can understand why people just avoid confrontation altogether. But if someone comes to you and says, when you do this, I feel this way, or if they say, I feel this way when you do this, and then leave it open, but do it in a very sort of
safe,
in a safe way. I think safety is very important. The other thing that's very important is to communicate expectations on the regular. You will never stop learning about another person, because other people also change. One moment they're liking this, they eventually stop liking horror movies. So the idea
they start having problems with the fact that the toilet seat is up all the time. I mean,
that is annoying.
No, but hang on. You made a very valid point in as far as relationships are concerned. You said hurt people. People that are hurt, that have deeply seated issues that they've not dealt with. They've built these huge walls around them, and they are just walking around ready to start a fight with you, or find things that they're unhappy with around people, and they are forever grumpy, and other people need to tiptoe around them. And Lord forbid you step on their toes, and then they come at you. And then it's scary for people like us who are forever happy and trying by all means to spread the happiness and not get into these confrontations. And now suddenly you are men are trash.
I must be honest, I'm also a ticking time bomb. I don't know how many people know my true character. I put on a very public face of being jolly, similar to yours. But how I deal with issues is very difficult, because I have I introspect a lot to the point that I actually get sick, and which has tempered my character a lot, in that I can't afford to get upset because I get sick. And my mom used to tell me that growing up, that you're going to be a problem child, because you don't deal with issues, you don't fight, you don't complain, because what's going to happen is that example you're making, and all of a sudden it's like explosion, and you're like, how? I'm like, you know what I mean?
But the was bad.
So it's something I think that we don't invest enough time in learning that side of like there will be conflict. How will we deal with those issues? Now, just quickly because we wrap it up in time, do you have a story to share about the things you maybe need to heal from in a relationship?
For me, I do know. For me, it's very clear. I tend to, and Nami, I think it was something growing up because with Abafana about 3. I tend to be too emotionally independent. So go financial and just the emotional stability. I can stand on my own too much. Being single for me was never something that scared me. I was single the longest time.
I blame your brothers.
Exactly. When girls talk about having lost their virginity and the ages they say, I
can't relate.
Keep quiet because mine was so it's always been that type of thing. Fine, if ungekho fine, I will. Because for me with my brothers, isn't dating fine they suit, but they protected me too much. And they would let me zenzele with other stuff, but in particular my perimeters. So when I do get into a relationship, I need to tell myself to listen, allow him to pick you up. It's okay for you to leave the car and land. It's okay, man. Allow him to pay the bill. It's okay. Allow him to hug you. Allow him to act time. Because I can be too much. Okay, because growing up, especially I realized I had this thing. It's fine. I'll save it for my pillow. So during the dinner, I have a persona. I'm here. I'm working. I deliver. I'm here. And I crumble in my own safety. And in a relationship, you need to be able to crumble to somebody, especially when the person has made you feel safe. Especially when he's really there to love you, Nandan. It's those things where you need to allow myself to be vulnerable and be like, okay, fine, I had a bad day for and I want to cry. And if the person says yes, let them come over and cry. But I would say, because when I had this habit of telling me, and I told my friends at school 2 weeks later. And when they asked me, why didn't you say, I told them I wanted to deal with it first. I wanted to be able to tell it to you without me crying. Because if I came the next day and told you, and it was always this thing of, God, all of those things are wrong. You don't have to be too emotional. Emotional intelligence applies in certain areas, but in certain areas you need to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And so let them, because you are emotionally absent. Like, what's happening to you? No, about be fragile. Let somebody love you. Be feminine in that sense, not just feminine in the way that you are, but in terms of your emotions. Men wanna be your savior. They wanna be your knight in shining every once in a while. Guys are just understand what's going on. Hi, baby girl, whatever. God, and it's okay. I can
So I can see we're running out of time because I also wanted to offer something in wrapping up about things that I need to heal from also. I think...
why you always got to make it about you? I'm just kidding.
No, it's okay. I can see that you're about to wrap up, and I wanted to contribute that also for anyone that's watching this video to also see that also that is a problem. We spoke about people putting their cards up all the time. I take after my mother. I'm a giver. And I've had people take advantage of that, and I've had people walk over me. So my cards and my radar is always up, looking out for signs, and then the flags go up because I know that I'm a walkover. So I'm always looking for signs that this person thinks because I'm nice to them or I'm a giver, they will take advantage.
Because you've been hurt.
It could be, yes, correct.
of your previous
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to shut it down. So like, okay, this one thinks I'm stupid, or because I laugh all the time, they think, because I'm a comedian, they think I'm stupid. Okay, it's fine, So I'm always in a relationship, not just a romantic one, any relationship. I think that is the package I come with. I'm very soft, and people take advantage of that. People can be evil, but not all people can be evil. But it's like navigating a minefield. You know what I mean? And everything is just a sign. Everything's a sign. Oh, okay.
I've seen that.
You borrow money, and I say, it's fine, don't worry, but don't pay it back. And then 3 days later you pay.
You know what, Felix? There's actually nothing wrong with being a giver.
Yeah.
There's actually absolutely nothing wrong with being a giver. Being a giver is not the problem. But the reality is that what givers tend to do naturally is just deal with any situation that comes their way and deal with it and help out as much as they can. The takers, however, they seek out the givers. The takers seek out the givers, and the givers are basically none the wiser. The key is to know and determine how you give, how much you can give, and when to give.
And it's okay to say no also.
Not giving doesn't doesn't stop you from being a giver. It doesn't change the definition of you being a giver. But the thing is that you've got to know that you are not an endless well when it comes to things like, for instance, lending money. You're not an endless well when it comes to that. So when your girlfriend or your wife or whoever comes to borrow and they want this and they need this and need this, and you're forever giving and giving and giving and giving.
Sure.
You must be able to identify that, hang on, the scales are not balanced yet.
A quick analogy for that in wrapping up is one that's different, but I think it's similar in sense of, there was once a study, I think a discussion about middle child syndrome. Where the middle child is always in the middle, not quite the favorite, but not the last born either. When you grow up with certain expectations, the same example you can make of the firstborns. A lot of responsibility. So when you come into a relationship, you're used to being the one in charge, but you're not used to giving in to somebody to take care of you. So it's a similar discussion you're talking about, but I have my own issues about, sure, there's so many now, I can't even talk about them. Like, the whole thing of being soft and stuff, and thinking a person can read my mind. Because I'm assuming that this person can see that you should know by this. And then 6 months later, they're like, no, I couldn't read you. I'm like, duh, you couldn't read. What's wrong with you? So we all have that. Yeah. I think that the lesson that we pick up here is that in sharing, we're hoping that somebody will say, that's me.
I've just identified myself in you, Mac, in you saying that I think, like manners, like a simple thing of saying thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, or it was my fault, or I acknowledge, or I see you. You think that people should know these things, and you think they can read your mind because now you're experiencing the discomfort, but you're not communicating it. But you're like, okay, and then they do it again because you let them do it. You taught them that they can do it again. You know what I mean? Because we're not all communicate. I just saw you just unlocked that. You know, like for instance, I mean, I'm never the one to say, "Hey, Pelegwamla," or Pelimotiam. Or I'm boss. I need for you to know what's in it. I don't do it in my car. Don't do it in my car. It's not your car. It's my car. I just let you use it.
Okay, can we drive this car and conclude this conversation? Guys, thanks a lot.
Shots.
Number one.
8.